attorney Lawrence Walters on this. And Lawrence, I was of the mind that this was sort of a Title IX thing. You provide one thing for one gender, you need to provide it for the other. But as you were saying earlier before we went on the air, it's actually more about, how they went about implementing it, right?
Right. That was part of the issue that the court found here, is that the Department of Education didn't go through its normal rulemaking process. So it didn't allow for any kind of public comment. It didn't take input from the people who would be affected by this pretty substantial change in policy and draft any formal rules to address it. Instead, the Department of Education just issued this guidance to schools nationwide and gave them a very short time within which to comply. And that kind of threw the school boards into chaos, forced them to sue and seek this injunction.
Well, yeah, and also he issued this ruling almost the first day of school, so it's not like kids aren't going to the bathroom right now. We need to have a decision on which direction we're going to go pretty soon. What happens next?
Right, so from this point, the options are to simply accept the preliminary injunction and carry through with the rest of the case. A preliminary injunction doesn't settle the issues for the entire case. It merely preserves the status quo, meaning it keeps things as they are for right now and lets the court decide ultimately who wins. The other option, though, that they have with this kind of ruling is an immediate appeal to the Fifth Circuit Court of Appeal, and they can then seek a review of all the decisions that this court made.
Yeah, and I think the judge also went on to say that the states, if they want to, they can provide other bathrooms for transgender if they decided to. Let me quickly ask you, though, this. We've seen a number of setbacks, if you will, for the transgender issue in court. What's the problem? Is it because the definition of transgender doesn't really fit neatly into our current definition of laws?
I think the essence of the problem is that gender identity was never included in the federal statutes that these various agencies and departments are interpreting. So they use words like gender or sex, but never gender identity. And so the courts look at the plain wording of the statute and they say, look, if you're going to change these laws, you need to change them at the legislative level and not try to reinterpret them so that they mean something different than what they say.
Like society changes faster than our laws can keep up with it sometimes.
Okay. This is the debate of our times, apparently.
Okay. Larry Walters. Larry, always great to have you in. Thanks, man.
Nice to be here.